Section 7 just started. Section 7.
Game development in the early 2000s was significantly different than it would become 2 decades later. Developing a game typically took only a few years at most, and once a game was completed, it was common for the studio to immediately begin work on something new. MMOs were no exception. Most of them would run for a few years, then die as the player base moved on to play something else. This had already happened to EVE's main competition, Earth and Beyond, and the developers all expected.
I remember that, dude. Didn't play it that long. I don't know. Something about it. I liked it better. We got Bluey Zombies coming in. Thanks for the follow. Thank you.
That EVE would suffer the same fate eventually, as a matter of course. But as the game approached the 4th year of its lifetime, it seemed that it was only growing. CCP had created plans to continue adding features, and what's more, they were preparing to launch the game in China, a massive new market, though China would have its own instance separate from the rest of the world. While this was good news for the company, many of the original developers were beginning to grow restless. They hadn't expected to work on EVE for more than a few years, and a number of them were looking forward to making something new. While CCP had plans for other projects.
That's interesting. And yes, I remember walking on stations. It was a great time. EVE has been one of those games that has survived because of this one fact. This one thing. We've talked about it a lot. When you play Guild Wars 2, ESO, World of Warcraft, all these games, the gear you grind for, the items you earn are obsolete in less than a year or 2 max. Max. In EVE Online, if I was able to fly my Dominics doing level 4s for multiple years and then take a multiple year break and come back and keep playing it and keep doing level 4s in my Dominics, there was some nerfs, of course, but the overarching game was still there. It was still good. So yes, Nihilus, I would spend all this time. I was a top rating guild. We were the number 3 in the server in BC. I was the rogue officer. I was teaching the newbie rogues how to do stuff. And then when Wrath came out, I switched to Death Knight and I was a main tank. I was main tanking as a Death Knight while most people were leveling. Okay, in raids while most people were like leveling. That was my background in like MMOs. This game, EVE. When I was let me back up instead of talking about EVE. When I played WoW, I grinded all this stuff. I got all this great gear, and then when Cataclysm came out, I was like, I spent my life grinding this game, and then the next expansion, all my gear is useless. And then transmogs come out, and I'm like, oh, you can make your gear look like it used to. I'm like, I don't care, I don't care about that at all, bro. New Greek gear is better than most epics. Made me sad, right? I'm that old of a WoW player. You couldn't fly. Yes, yeah. I loved StarCraft. StarCraft 2 was great too. And then RTS just kind of fell out of fashion from esports, which is another conversation. So my point is, it doesn't surprise me that the devs wanted to make something new. What did surprise me is that the devs didn't see what they had at the time. And maybe that's just too broad stroke, but CCP Games has always been ahead of the curve. They had made an MMO that didn't need a new expansion every year to thrive. Every other one did. WoW, you would beat the game. You would kill Arthas, you would kill Illidan, and that was it. Why play? Oh, I can get better gear, kill him faster. Who cares? EVE, the top of EVE, is the Titan. And even then, there's so much you can do. It's never ending. It's one of the best games there is because of that. Right, and I don't play Diablo games because I don't love top-down games. It's not my cup of tea, y'all. And we could talk about Blizzard for literal days, so yes, for sure. Right. Keep watching, chat. Let's do it.
Projects within the EVE intellectual property, they were in need of new developers, and so they decided to hire some of their staff directly from their player base. In many ways, this was a logical decision. Hiring players meant that they were passionate and not
CCPB, right? One of the best FCs I've ever seen. One of the best fleet commanders I've ever seen. CCPB. Used to be Bjorn B. Still known in the community, one of the most prolific EVE streamers that they've seen. I've taken a lot of cues from him and his knowledge and his wisdom and how he was doing his streams and how the hype he would generate, his energy, I'm hoping that I can fulfill what CCPB did and then some, and bringing the energy back to the EVE category. It was, when I tell you, Raven, he deserves to be CCPB. Seeing how prolific he is at the game, you need people like that are passionate about the game. I respect him a lot, Chet. I really, really do. So, that's great, AK. Yeah. For sure. Samesies. Yeah, let's see.
Knowledgeable about the game, and they would be conscious of concepts and problems of which an outside hire might otherwise be ignorant. It also meant that they would need less training to learn about the intricacies of EVE. Besides technical know-how, these developers would typically continue to play even after being hired, which meant that they were passively listening to the information that flows through the undercurrent of New Eden in the form of word of mouth, rumors, and propaganda.
That is so important. Ladies and gentlemen, when we saw interviews from Blizzard employees making Diablo 4, and were asked, hey, what's your favorite class? And the developers were like, I don't play the game. But instead of like that, I don't play the game. It was like shrug, whatever, You need people that, I'm not saying every single employee of a gaming company has to play the game, but damn it, it's gonna help if most of you do. How are you supposed to know if the bug fixes you're doing, if the code you're building, if the environments you're making are fun, if you don't play the game? At the very least, the middle management, in my opinion, most of them should play the game. I think it's mandatory. I think it's indeed mandatory that it should be a thing that happens. D4, such a massive failure, chat. What a massive failure. I could literally talk about it for days, That's why the rookie channel is watched so closely, not only by rookies, but also by CCP and CSMs. I totally agree. Mechon, correct. Oh, but if this is what I think it is, what's coming? This is going to backfire. Oh, Kaz. We'll have to see. So let's see. Elite Dangerous had the problem. Wow. So yes, there it is. The mechanics were screwed up at launch. Yeah, Let's see.
This way, they could adjust the servers quickly to anticipate battles that were about to take place and reduce the effects of
Look at the 5 polygons, yeah.
lag, as well as gather information for balance changes faster than they otherwise would be able. But these new hires created unique problems. Those players willing and able to accept work at Crowd Control Productions were often among the most dedicated and active, and for many, EVE had become a significant part of their lives, deliberately altering their schedules so that they were able to add their firepower to important battles and assist their corporations and allies. Real friendships were frequently formed and broken due to in-game conflicts, while some were burned for in-game advantages. For these players, the boundaries between EVE Online and the real world were either blurry or non-existent. When these players became developers, they gained access to the dev tools and commands. This power was too tempting for some, and they began to utilize these permissions to their own ends, creating rare and valuable items for their corporations and alliances. For example,
Oof. You can't. It's a different set of rules. We just talked, right, Kaz? It's a different set of rules. You can't do that. You're cheating. You're not gaming the system. You're not, you hear this a lot when we're EVE players, We try to see a system and use it to the best of our advantage. There's a line, though. You don't cheat. It's the same thing with stream sniping. I think if you stream snipe, you're bad at PvP. You can have 30 people gate camping, you can have 300 people gate camping, but if you discerned the information that someone's gonna come through this way at this time through stream sniping, you're still bad at the game. Why don't you just scout, Not just one guy, for sure. This is bad news bears. This is something that is a fireable offense because it hurts the game. If you're a game developer and you're using your power at the game studio to spawn in items, this is not just a fireable offense. I think this should be a bannable offense, and I'm sure we're going to get to that. So my alt is not... I just panicked, chat. Is my alt AFK in space? It is not. Thank God. Let's see.
Blueprint originals used for building ships and components were in extremely limited supply, as no new ones could be made, and so most people had to buy copies that would be consumed after only a few uses.
BPOs? BPOs were uncommon? They had to liberate them? Good. Hitting me right in the anxiety. Literally hitting me right in the anxiety. So funny.
Player developers could create brand new blueprints for their corp mates and themselves. Hilmar Pedersen,
I watched part of this documentary on my lunch hour and installed EVE that evening. Kipper, you came at the right time, buddy. Welcome in. Now here watching you sneak around the solar system. Been a fun stream to watch, Kipper. You're most welcome, my friend. Eve is a game. Why is Eve such a good game? Because the best thing about Eve is one of the worst things about it, right? It blurs the line between real life and online. A lot of people live in Eve. That's not healthy. A lot of people don't play Eve. That's not healthy. You know, we got Region coming in on Twitch. Good to see you. Thanks for the follow. Amazing stuff. Yeah. They would do an Eve movie using all the stuff that happened for real. I agree. So the Eve ad, this game,
you're not ready.
I've seen it many times. It's a bad ad in my opinion. Not because the ad is bad, but because they're serving it to me. I want to talk to my background is in marketing tech, chat. I want to go talk to their ad developers so I can be like, why are you serving somebody with 5 accounts Eve ads? I am not the viewer. I'm literally ready. I'm an Eve partner. Don't serve me the ad. It's a waste of money. I want you to serve ads to the right people. That was my job back in the day. CCP, come talk to me.
CEO of CCP noted during an interview for Down the Rabbit Hole that on 5 separate occasions, the problem had become so bad that he had to invite the offender into his office and offer them a choice: stop playing the game or stop working at Crowd Control Productions.
The fact he gave him a choice. You know, I like this man right here. He needs a shave, but I like this man. He gave him a choice. What do you think they picked? And why was your answer, I'm gonna keep playing the game? You know the Eve devs that were players that became devs that were making items in game. The game is already more important to them than the job because they're spawning in BPOs. You know, ridiculous. So, nice alt. That is the way to do it for sure. Serve the ads to the people who play Starfield. Literally correct. Oh, the irony. Indeed.
Twice, the developer chose to leave the company so that they could continue playing. So
what did I tell you?
great was the role of the game in their lives. It was with knowledge of these bad actors that, as Groen wrote years later, Sivok, leader of Ascendant Frontier and pilot for Steve the Titan, accused a Band of Brothers member of
"Don't talk to me or my son ever again," you know.
malfeasance. In an interview for a Swedish radio program translated for Empires of Eve, Sivok said, quote, "Suddenly, one of the CCP Interstellar News Corp ships just appeared out of nowhere and started to orbit my Titan. 2 seconds later, I was bumped offline, a total coincidence, I am sure, and about 3 seconds after that, so was my alt." End quote. Those who are more dubious of Sivok's claims noted that after a recent patch, it had become much easier to scan for Titans, and so, while finding Steve by pure chance was unlikely, it was still technically feasible. What precisely happened is contentious, and no definitive.
So he's saying that a dev that plays EVE Online found his Titan, and then as he's orbiting the Titan, the dude gets booted. And his alt. Now, of course, chat, this is someone's story, it's one-sided. But in the context, sure. Do we need to know anything else that whoever did that is probably cheating? You know what I'm saying? Jeez Louise. So totally Kipper, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for that, Jado. Thank you for that. So that's what gets me. I want to watch an Eve ad on YouTube, and I am served an ad for Eve, or I am watching Loru stream and Eve serves me an Eve ad. Like, right, Vrod, you literally play the game. You're here with us, and it's like,
this game, you're not ready.
And you're like, I literally play the game. I'm in the Eve Partners stream right now. God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Chat, if that's true, this is, again, not just... This is grounds for banning and firing, in my opinion. Because you've ruined that player's experience. It's different rules. The player has a Titan, is flying the Titan, and a dev warps in and bumps the player. And sure, he might have found them legitimately, but it's the same kind of thing when I'm not streaming, when I tell you I have a completely different mining experience when I'm on my offline alts, the ones that y'all don't know about, the ones that are not public, the ones that I'm not going to reveal are public, right? When I'm mining on those, when I'm orca boosting, many hulks, and nobody bothers me, and I sign online, I stream me in a Magus and a bunch of prospects, and we get ganked by a stream sniper Praxis who absolutely countered my Proteus fit. It's a completely different experience. This is what I'm talking about. This guy flies a Titan, and he sees all of a sudden Merlin or whatever it was comes in, and then he signs off, that's weird. That's atypical. The atypicalness tells you that there was something nefarious going on, in my opinion.
The proof has been released, but however the location
I agree. Let's serve the Star Citizen people EVE Online ads.
of Steve was divined, the leaders of Band of Brothers received word that Steve the Titan had been discovered, and they immediately gave the order to mobilize. In a matter of minutes, a cynosural field was lit at Steve's location, and the entirety of Band of Brothers' fleet jumped in to see Steve.
Look at how he's like, you know, what the heck?
Alone, inert, and inactive. Immediately, the dreadnoughts went into siege mode and unleashed their payload into
They said the Titan was alone, inert, and inactive, meaning nobody's piloting the Titan. It's just in space. Huh?
the hull of Steve, which could only wait placidly for the end. Steve the Titan exploded and was reduced to rubble. The first Titan to be built was now the first Titan to be destroyed. The members of Band of Brothers were ebullient and...
Do you know how incredible it is we have a video of this? Do you understand that this video was saved on some dude's hard drive? Look at this. We're watching the first ever Titan die. Think about that. Think about that. I think they couldn't dock, right, Hathor? Correct? He got taken offline. Oh my god, dude. The pilot was just offline. Oh my god, dude. Yo, he got kicked or something. They had to stay in space. This is history, chat. Whoa. So I definitely, Zalthis, can you link it to me? I will definitely check it out. Yeah.
Soon, the loss of Steve became common knowledge all throughout New Eden. To honor its death, Steve's ruined corpse would remain in the system of C9N TAC-CC, where it was destroyed, so that players may still return to it and pay their respects.
We have to do that one day.
The death of Steve had made many players...
We got to go there one day. We got to go there and just 07 the remains of Steve. See, before I was like, Steve, what the heck? And now I'm like, Steve. You know, it's fantastic. So all these, can you DM me on Discord or put it in the listen, read, watch chat over in Discord? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So.
Is suspicious, but soon an event would occur that would unite.
The implication is that the EVE developer was behind the pilot being pushed offline. If that's true, that EVE developer took something that should have been done by players for players. If that's true, we don't know, chat. If that's true, if he's a cheaty boy, exactly, it means that EVE dev chose to take an experience, indeed a memory, that the EVE players should have been having with each other and chose to take it for himself. I cannot imagine a more scummy thing to do in a sandbox video game. To play by a set of rules in order to make you the big man, lame. It's very, it's lame. That's all it is. Boo is right.
All of New Eden against Band of Brothers, and more importantly, alter the relationship between the players and the company on a foundational level.
Correct. Thank you, Salties. Section 7 done. Section 8 begins.
In January of 2007, a hacker responsible for releasing private information on Goonfleet, going by Kugutsumen, approached them, offering to hack their enemies for free after his client from the Coalition of the South refused to pay him for his services. Among those targeted was Band of Brothers, and included with strategically important pieces of information, he discovered logs proving that one of the members of Band of Brothers was a developer and was granting his alliance rare goods. While some were dubious at first, CCP later confirmed that, indeed, the accusation was true.
Sheesh. I can't imagine. I agree, Raven. Yes. Band of Brothers was very hated because of this. Yeah. Right. It sucks, chat. Look, if you cheat, it's the same thing when people use the wall hacks in League of Legends, or when someone uses the ammo hacks or the aim hacks inside of Call of Duty. If you have to hack a video game like EVE Online or anything else, there it is, Will. Yeah. If you have to hack a video game to win, that means you suck at the video game. I don't care how many hours you have. If you have to cheat to win, you're bad at the video game. So if this is, and the CCP said it's true, they confirmed it's true. The developers confirmed it. Goodness gracious. So there it is, Everin. There it is. So I haven't yet, Zolties. I haven't, no.
Mar Pedersen wrote on the subject
Link
in
me.
a public letter with dramatic prose.
Playing a paladin in World of Warcraft. Listen, paladins were OP for a long time. That's, you know, I was very good at killing paladins because they were so cocky. You think your bubble can save you?
You think your bubble can save you?
One of my favorite things to do was having a paladin heal. And as the paladin's healing up, I'm arming of the deading. I'm summoning undead things and getting ready to wreck him. Super fun, chat. Great stuff. I remember. The warlocks were definitely the way to go, though. Definitely Toto, for sure, for sure. Yeah. My kid uses the motherload cheat for Sims 4 all the time. What are you saying, Loru? If it's a kid, they can do it. But be careful. Be careful.
Quote, throughout our history, there have been a handful of cases where our employees or members of our various volunteer and partner programs have taken advantage of the proprietary powers they are granted through access and knowledge. These cases have been investigated, prosecuted, and judgment rendered. Usually
Prosecuted. Crimes, ladies and gentlemen, crimes. These people, was it worth it? Spawning in the Rifter BPOs? Was it worth it knocking Steve's pilot offline so you can get your first Titan kill when you had literal on your permanent record prosecutions were confirmed? Judgment rendered means that some people had fines on their records, some kind of like anti-business tactics coming in. Do you think they're ever going to get a job again? No, bro. Cheating in a single player game is one thing, but if you're cheating in a multiplayer game to ruin experience for another, just to make them a mean person. Will, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So, was my character name Leroy in WoW? No. I am not Leroy Jenkins, even as much as I would like to be. It was Lorimer, actually. A shocker, I know.
The punishment has been quite simple. Termination of employment. A pivotal case was uncovered last summer during a routine investigation of developer accounts. Unfortunately, CCP did not act with the same decisive consistency we have used on previous occasions. Those left at the helm chose to react cautiously, as sometimes is appropriate under these circumstances, leading to more leniency and understanding than we are used to in these matters. This particular case, involving a single developer, underlined where improvements needed to be made, and we have since focused our efforts on reinforcing rules and processes so that consistent ruling is assured.
Can I give you what that means, chat? This is business speak, okay? Again, my background's in marketing tech.
Under these circumstances,
Can I tell you what this means? Okay, let me fast forward just a wee bit so it's at the very tippity top here. Okay. Can I tell you what the first paragraph means? Okay. This paragraph, what this actually means. Hey, we discovered some stuff, and so the devs that discovered it didn't act in time, and they messed up, and they've been talked to as well. Okay. What this paragraph means right here, hey, the problem dev has been fired and shamed in the company, and now we have processes to hopefully stop this, but we have no freaking idea because people are going to do what they have to do, because we have to give them permissions to do what they're doing. We're going to try to reinforce it, but we're just not sure. That's what this means, okay? And I say that as somebody that doesn't work at CCP. I haven't talked to somebody at CCP. I'm telling you this because it's business speak, ladies and gentlemen. Reinforcing rules and processes so that consistent ruling is assured is a nice way of saying we changed our... It's a nice way of saying...
We changed our SOP. We have no idea. We have no idea.
It's just... Basically. Raven. Basically.
Needed to be made, and we have since focused our efforts on reinforcing rules and
That's
processes
cool, AK.
so that
Cool.
consistent ruling is assured. It is no trivial thing when corruption takes place. In our case, it's no different than the injustice of public servants in the real world feathering their own nests rather than ensuring the prosperity of the many. Living in a country of a comparable population as the world of Eve, Iceland only has 300,000 inhabitants, I sure know how it can feel when governance is not balanced and feeling powerless to stop it. I am certain that members of the EVE community are now going through similar emotions. I am sure that we all appreciate that it is no coincidence that Dante reserved the lowest level of hell for the worst of those who betrayed their benefactors. In our case, I would regard the EVE community as our benefactors.
Agree.
We are not the gods or the masters of EVE Online
There
or
it
the
is.
EVE community. We serve the community. You have entrusted us to safeguard your hard work.
And there it is. And there it is. When we plan these streams, when we have 12-hour subathons, we have sub 1 hour left, ladies and gentlemen. When I give away billions of ISK, When we do all this crazy stuff for y'all, I'm not here to make money in a video game. If I wanted to, chat, I would just go spend the money I'm making through all my other stuff that y'all don't see on Plex, and I would just buy ships. You know, if somebody takes their developer power and uses it to make themselves more of the man, it's more sad. And it's like it goes past immature to sad, you know? It's just sad. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? I was just served an Eve ad. CCP, I think you already have my attention. There it is, but maybe you are correct that I'm not ready to play the game. There it is, fraud. Gotta love the only ad you get is the Honda just looping. Yeah. What I tell you, I stopped buying ads on Twitch a long time ago. We can talk about that on another stream, chat. Twitch sucks for ads. That's why we multi-stream. It's one of the reasons. We can talk about it more later. So I'm with you, Nihilus. I don't get how it makes somebody feel good, but because you and I are good people, we actually think about others. These kind of people are so selfish. They only think about themselves, you know? Because, like, even if they spawn items in for the Corp, it's not for the Corp, it's for them. It's for them to feel big. It's for them to feel large and in charge, you know? Lame. So, AK, thank you for that.
End quote. The death of Steve the Titan had raised suspicions before, and now those suspicions had proven correct. Band of Brothers were cheaters. Many in Nullsec had long hated Band of Brothers for various reasons, chiefly their imperialist aims and elitist attitude, but now all of New Eden had been granted a new ideological casus belli. While exploits, glitches, and unintended mechanics are common in games such as EVE Online, this was different. A developer was deliberately abusing his authority and privilege in order to aid his allies.
Right.
While Band of Brothers as an alliance had already been diplomatically isolated for much of its lifespan, they had now been made a universal target. Players all over New Eden were enraged, snidely calling them Band of Developers. Even though most players weren't present in Nullsec, estimates state that over half of all players somehow participated in the war that would become known as the First Great War of EVE Online.
Let's go.
With the majority of players in New Eden choosing a side in the war, propaganda became more vital than ever, and the precise truth was becoming more and more difficult to ascertain, altered with flowery embellishments. In a blog post from October of 2007, EVE blogger Nate Combs writes that, quote, "The propaganda machinery of the coalitions play a vital role in keeping players informed of the big picture. The little guys struggle one ship, one system, one corporation and alliance at a time, and read the cues and spin from the mouthpieces up high. Of this recent turn, Band of Brothers has fashioned a very slick propaganda video, spinning the retreat in heroic terms, in contrast to a more prosaic reality. Endy provides detailed..."
The hell does prosaic mean, Chan? I'm not smart enough for this. I didn't finish college. The hell's prosaic? I'm looking this up. I learned a new word today. Okay. Prosaic, meaning so seeded, planted, in contrast to a more seeded reality. Huh? I don't know, chat. The hell's prosaic? What is this? Oh, am I taking an SAT right now, ladies and gentlemen? What the heck is going on?
Analysis for the game world students of these things. Despite its production polish, one will note that its audience is crisply targeted. It makes little attempt to reach more broadly. The important takeaway for a general reader might be this. How would the foot soldiers in a large-scale, information-complex, distributed game spanning the real-world globe and 24 time zones have any clue how their system-by-system struggle fits into the big picture, were it not for, well, something like an EVE Online Alliance propaganda network? End quote. For CCP Games, war meant fun for the players, and fun meant more subscribers, which meant more profits. And while EVE Online certainly had a larger audience than many other games, its subscribership was increased even further due to its mechanics, which offered its players the ability to easily practice a technique known as multiboxing. While
Okay, here we go. Let's get this out of the way right now. Okay? Multiboxing is pro the wallet of the developers first. Okay? It's allowed, nice blue Yeti by the way. It's allowed because one person becomes 5 accounts. I have 5 public accounts, 5 accounts. I pay for none of them, by the way, because y'all use my referral link on all 5 of my alts. They're all free to play for me until I think it's 2027. Because so many new players have come in using my referral link. That's the power, by the way, of this community. Fan-freaking-tastic. Multiboxing is good first for the developers, okay? And their wallets. It's one of the reasons you don't see it being taken away. I don't love multiboxing, but I say that as a multibox user. I don't love it because I see enough of the, shall we call it, negative effects. Okay. Perhaps it's supposed to be prosaic. Yeah, I don't know what prosaic is. Right, exactly. Yeah. Totally, John. Yeah. So I don't want to have to multibox to win an Eve. I like using 2. 2 is cool. Yeah. I've said this, the working man's multibox. 2 Omegas. Or 1 Omega, 1 Alpha. 1 Omega, that's your main, and Alpha, you're just kind of messing around with. You're doing some Abyss. You got some PI, whatever. Is PI Omega? I don't know anymore, chat, because I have flied too many Omegas. All this. The reason why CCP Games doesn't stop multiboxing is because you got people with like 50 accounts. Like 50. Not 15, 50. And while the money's there, they're going to keep doing it. PI is Omega only. There it is. So, One alt is practical. When I tell you, for years, before I was an e-partner, before I flew this, before I was here in and out, I had 2 accounts and that was it. And I was happy to pay. I did the every 3-month thing, right? Which, by the way, you can use code Loru in the Marquee Dragon store below. Every single time you use Omega, you buy Omega. If you use code Loru, it's cheaper. In the link down below. Check it out. Thank you very much. So I used to have just 2 accounts. Thank you, Niles. And it was so great. I heard 60 Alphas for PI. There it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of money for Omega. Yes, Salties. So it was $30 a month for me to have 2 accounts because it was the every 3 months you would pay $45. So it was $90 every 3 months, but it ended up being only $30 a month because if it's over 3 months, right? Whatever. And that was what I paid for WoW subscription anyway. It was like $20, $15 a month, whatever. So it felt like, okay, a little more expensive than WoW, but I have 2 characters. You know, I have 2 accounts. I can do this fun stuff. And I think that's a good number. But I want to get this out of the way now that multiboxing is pro the developers first. And that's why you're never, ever going to see it leave Eve. As long as the subscriber base is what it is, you're never going to see it leave Eve. Eve is a game that is niche. Put it to you this way. When I go to my local nerd shops and they say, so what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, I'm a content creator. They're like, oh, what game? And I go, Eve Online. A lot of them are like,
What's that?
this is not an uncommon thing. Because Eve is still a niche game, ladies and gentlemen. And this 2 paid 1 alpha is a good idea, Jay. Yes. See, alphas, you can just have an alpha. It's free. It's okay. You know, you can't play them simultaneously, but it's still ready if you need it. So, that's correct. And syllable PI is something we're making content on very, very soon.
Most who play massively multiplayer online games tend to only play 1 character at a time. Others will sometimes have multiple accounts that they will run at the same time in order to fulfill multiple roles at once. Compared to other games, EVE Online was particularly well suited to this method of play,
Correct.
since many of the most important functions, such as firing weapons and movement, would continue to run once activated and only required interaction when changing this function. Even if a particular character underperformed, it was almost always worthwhile to have multiple characters rather than only 1 in any situation. This gradually became vital for professions such as mining and industry, whose activities were much more passive than combat. Mining and related professions mostly entailed approaching a resource node, pressing a few buttons, and waiting until the node was mined out while
My man's mining inside of an Atron. That's actually what got me into more multiboxing is mining. Because I'm sitting there going like, so if I'm already sitting here. So if I'm sitting here with 4 accounts and a booster, I was able to make on my Orca alts that aren't public, I'm able to make with 4 Hulks and an Orca, I can make 100 million ISK in about 35 minutes. I think it's 40 minutes maybe. It might be like 40. The point is I make 100 million ISK in under an hour. High sec ice. In another area. It's that's why I like started doing it. So, you know, are you planning on making an edited video of Operation BPO? Yep. You'll see.
watching for hostile ships. For these players, the most effective way to scale was simply to have more ships, which meant multiboxing. And so, it was common for players to have multiple windows with the same game open, each window running a different character. Even if a person could have multiple characters on the same account, each account was limited to only one of its characters being used at a time, and so, multiple subscriptions would be necessary. This meant that some people, rather than only giving $15 a month to play, were instead giving many times more. Some of the most dedicated players would, and do, run over 10 characters simultaneously. Given the dedication of space game players and their relatively higher age bracket, the proportion of multiboxers was likely much higher compared to other MMOs. What's more, word of the war was continuing to grow the player base, and CCP's business prospects were looking better than they ever had. While the precise player count is...
Right, like, let's not even talk about mining. Let's talk about the war effort. There's a massive war, the first big war of New Eden. And you have Omega. And you have an Alpha that you've been skilling just casually, whatever. All you have to do is spend another 15 bones a month, typically. And now you have a whole other character that you can just put one half on that side of the screen, the other half on that side of the screen, and you can guarantee that you will kill most ships. 2 versus 1, you're probably going to lose if you're the one. Probably. It's only been a couple times in my EVE career that I've been able to outmuscle multiple fleets. You know, you saw our stream a while ago when we were in wormhole space. This drink, chat. It's really nice, and your boy's having a real great time. You get some Loru.
After dark. Here, thank you very much.
Okay, it's bourbon whiskey. It's Woodford's Reserve with ice. Good stuff. Anyway, the point is, I was able to push away multiple Tengus and Lokis. I think it was a 4-stack fleet on the other side. But then once they had double curse, that's what I fell to, because they saw that I was active tank, because they were, well, the point is, I fell to that. But I was able to push away Wingspan. I think it was Wingspan 3 times in wormhole space with a prospect, Porpoise, not a prospect. Jeez Louise. If I push away Wingspan with a prospect, they are asleep or drunk or both. Thank you kindly. You know, point is, like, I was multiboxing, and that's what led me to victory. Maybe they were 2. We'll see. We got CA coming in on Twitch. Good to see you. Thank you very much. So, for sure, AK. Yeah. Wingspan was the last subathon. That's true. Oh my God, was that a month ago? Oh my God, that was so good. So buy weekend fleet packs for $4 and turn on Omega on your Alpha alt for 3 days. Allows you to have a Cloaky alt scout when you need without paying for a second Omega account full time. Syllable. That is a huge tip, and you can do that on Marquee's store with code Loru for even cheaper. Truly even cheaper. Incredible. Monday through Fridays playing EVE. Saturday and Sunday is Scaredy Cat, Sysdef on a burner clone, or just on Alpha alt. I hear you, Jado. I hear you. A lot of people do that kind of stuff. I hear you totally. Thank you, Nihilus. Yeah, check it out. Check it out.
It's difficult to ascertain. The total numbers of subscribed accounts had, according to the company, surpassed 300,000. Rather than only pushing money back into the game, they began to...
$15 a month. The subscribers are 300,000. So they're making $4.5 million a month. Okay, times 12. $54 million a year. Now that looks like it's a big number. It's really not. It's really not. You think of a company that has to do all this infrastructure, this dev work, constant new content, server maintenance, hiring, rehiring, training. 54 million a year. While that sounds like a big number, it's good for them. They're growing. It's not enough. We're going to see.
To build their company out, anticipating further success.
10 mil for taxes. Exactly. Correct. So,
while everyone involved with the production of EVE Online had believed in the potential of their project,
look at that little kneecap. I love the Vexer chat. I flew one for years.
It was still difficult for many of them to believe how successful their game had become. But the executives at the company wasted no time looking for ways to grow the IP, both to capitalize on the success of the game and grow the resilience of the franchise to compete with other MMOs. In 2004, World of Warcraft had been launched by Blizzard Entertainment, developers of numerous well-regarded games such as StarCraft, the Warcraft series, and the Diablo series.
World of Warcraft, in its inception, is one of, if not top 3 video games ever created. In my opinion, the best video games ever made are Elden Ring is at number 1. Elden Ring was and is the greatest video game I have ever played. And if you haven't played Dark Souls or any of that and you didn't play Elden Ring, you have deprived yourself of an experience. That game had moments where I was emotional, you know, where I was like, oh God, you know. The number 2 is right here. World of Warcraft Classic. This was it. Now, I loved Guild Wars 1, but there were some, let's put it this way. WoW is a better game than Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 1 had some serious moments that WoW didn't have. But Guild Wars 1 to me was an intro MMO for World of Warcraft. I loved Guild Wars 1 when I tell you I had the 15k armor with my warrior assassin and my warrior monk. And we did Hall of Heroes every night, every weekend. Oh my gosh, we got in some good times in Guild Wars 1. I'll never forget them. Some of those people are still, I was 12 years old. I'm 30-something now. Thank you kindly. We'll see you soon, 5 pints. God bless you. Some of those people are still in this community now. It warms my heart to no end. Elden Ring, Guild Wars 1, Elden Ring, World of Warcraft. My number 3 game. What game have I loved over the years? I'll throw in one that you're not going to expect. Rainbow Six Siege. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I'll use its full government name. Rainbow Six Siege is one of the best shooter games I have ever played. I loved it. I loved it. I was good, chat. High gold. Did well. Did well for a content creator that was playing it pretty casually, you know. Loved it. See, y'all can disagree. It's okay. I loved Rainbow Six Siege. I loved it. Oh my God. I haven't had that much fun playing shooter since I was playing Halo 2 and 3 back in the day. LAN parties. So good. It's a good game, Jado, for sure. I love it. Rainbow Six Siege now is a bit of it's weighed down by a lot of stuff that's happening to it. There's too much monetization. You know, CS is a great pick, 1.6 for sure. Expected that Inferno? Yes. Hell yeah. Guys will look at that and say, hell yeah. You know? That's how it goes, actually. Siege has always been sweaty. I love that. Okay, so if you're playing Siege casually, it's a damn fun game. It's fun. But the moment you go to ranked, and I actually got mad at some teammates I was playing with when I was streaming, and Wardling, this isn't even about you. I absolutely got furious at one of my teammates when they were like, we lost a ranked match, and they was like,
wow, they're so sweaty.
And I'm like, what are you doing here? You know, why are you playing ranked if you don't want to be sweaty? Like, accept responsibility for yourself, ranked players, and do better. That's it. Arma 3 is a hell of a thing. So you owe. What is you owe, Richard? I'm drawing a blank. Ultima Online? You just pulled something out of the, Will. Just out of the back of my brain. Ladies and gentlemen, I played Helldivers 2 for the first time 3 nights ago with Pastor Gaines. This game is being hailed, Helldivers 2, this game is being hailed as one of the best co-op games since Left 4 Dead 2, and after playing it for 5 hours, this game is a must-buy. Helldivers 2, a must-buy. Unironically looking to stream it with the community coming in. So that's true, Richard. Yeah. He sold the gold back in the day, huh? I literally queued up outside the store to get my copy of WoW in 2004 for TBC. I went on to the next city at 2 a.m. to get my copy immediately on release. That's amazing, Nihilus. You and I are friends, Nihilus. We already were, but now we're really friends, Sheesh. Because I did the same. Helldivers 2 on the list. It's a great game. Ultima owner went to space. There it is, Samuel. Yes. Ultima Online was the beginning of MMOs. It is. This game here, World of Warcraft, would not be the game it is today without Ultima Online. Truly. Or Guild Wars 1 even. They were all very, very similar. Haven't played Elden Ring yet, but Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 are better most person shooters. Elden Ring better. Okay. Baldur's Gate 3, masterpiece. Great game. If you like that kind of turn-based style game, Elden Ring, better. Is just my opinion and facts. You know, some people are going to disagree with me. That's totally fine. A lot of people like Sekiro. You know, I haven't played it. Sekiro is the only From Software game I haven't played. That and the new Armored Core. I wanted to get it, but, you know, life is just, I can't play every single game. You know what I'm saying? So, big talk, and yet, I'm not wrong. Baldur's Gate 3, a great game. Great game. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the best games ever made. No one debates that. Elden Ring is better. It just is. The environments, the play style, the replayability, the co-op, everything is... They're still learning stuff about it. It's been out for years. It is, my opinion, and also factually correct. That's how we do it. Thank you very much. So, Crackar, we'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Let's keep going, Shan. Let's keep going. So, you're going to do great, Nihilus, after you play Elden Ring.
And much like their other titles,
Have a good night, Crackar. We'll see you soon. Cheers.
World of Warcraft, known as WoW in shorthand, was a massive success upon launch, and even as the years wore on, its subscriber count was only growing. There was some speculation about whether or not WoW would swallow the entire market.
I miss it. I miss it. My flesh. Okay. Not the real part of me. The flesh part of me. My, like, shadow, let's say, wants nothing more than to be a World of Warcraft content creator and play World of Warcraft all day. I loved this game. I fell in love with it. I played it too long and I was addicted. I am addicted, even though I don't play it still. Does that make sense? Addicts will know. Recovering addicts will know, okay? That first time you watch that cinematic, are you ever gonna forget the Wrath of the Lich King cinematic? Are you ever gonna forget it? When you hear that, I can hear it in my brain right now. When you see the frozen wastelands of Northrend, after playing Warcraft 3 for years, I'm getting emotional, okay? After playing Warcraft 3 for years, and then playing World of Warcraft, and then seeing Northrend. And who is it but Arthas? Oh, I get goosebumps to this day. And why is it so good? Because they made a story. They made an experience, you know? Woo. I got tired of killing rabbits. That's it, Hathor. That's fantastic. I have played WoW since vanilla. Baldur's Gate 3 has taken me away from retail and modern classic. There it is. God bless you. Kowalski. There it is. I can feel it in my emotion. Nelson, it's important to me. You want to know how important it is? What's this? Y'all know what this is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the signet of command from the Frostwolf clans. From the Horde. This, yes, Will. Yes, this is the signet of command. Okay? The Frostwolves, ladies and gentlemen, from the Horde. Look at this ring. Some dude in Russia made this. Okay? It's on Etsy. Incredible stuff. I love this ring. It's one of my favorite rings. Horde Fly for the Horde, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine playing a fantasy game where this is possible, okay? Where you can be a bull man and then choosing a
Human paladin.
Can you imagine it? I can't. No, thank you. So I'm with you. Nelson, that's what I'm saying, bro. And you can play for the Alliance. It's fine. You're just wrong. The only acceptable Alliance race is Draenei because they're shamans. I played Draenei shamans, chat. They're a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? There it is. Or Contra, baby. I was a undead rogue. And then I re-rolled a Blood Elf rogue in BC. And then I was a Blood Elf Death Knight. Main tanking with an AoE silence. I could not be stopped. Okay? I had Twink Shaman alts. Oh, chat, it's all coming back. I had a 39 Twink Shaman alt with a Fiery War Axe with Fiery Enchant on it with Wind Fury. You would see a priest, a clothy, and just go, well, stop, dude. Bop, and you would just watch the health bar. I would joke. I would dispel their health bars. Super fun. Warling coming in. 25 bones for the Horde onto this subathon. God bless you, Warling. Thank you for that. That's amazing, brother. That's absolutely amazing. You're pushing those points even up. We're up to 2657 points. For our subathon today, we're at 2657. Do we need to do another giveaway? We do. We're doing a sticker giveaway. Warling, because of you. We'll do this at the end of stream, after we're done watching down the rabbit hole, that's what we're gonna do. Literally dispel the Clothies. Just dead. The end. The end. That's it. You know, Warling, thank you for the 25 bones. Thank you for that. So, WoW and Eve literally always play Horde. Hey, there you go. Shout it out. Maybe I joined Pandemic Horde to keep the dream alive. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying my character and my wife's were caught in our underwear in a house in WoW, but I'm not saying, yeah, what happens at Goldshire stays at Goldshire cast. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But Diablo, lame. Diablo 2, good game. Good game. I didn't say great. Good game. Diablo 3, lame. Diablo 4, cash grab. Diablo Immortal straight needs to be renamed Diablo Immoral. Okay? The amount of cash grabs, lame, can't do it. Literally can't deal with it. I used to tank Death Knights with my warrior in Northrend while mining till they got bored and leave me alone. Random? I saw you in the boreal tundra, my brother. You know, me too, dude. Samesies. Fantastic. Absolutely correct. So, Hearthstone was fun. I liked Hearthstone. I haven't played Hearthstone in a long time. Card games and I don't really do stuff right now. I clicked to refresh on Bloody Zombies thing. You're gonna see an alert pop up in just a sec. You know what I'm saying? So I like it. Yeah, for sure. AK. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. D4 made me think of all the money you could have spent stuff on. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a cosmetic in Diablo 4 right now that is a $65 mount. Now remember, the game is zoomed out, so you can barely see the horse. Okay, you can barely see it. For $65, you can buy 2 copies of Helldivers 2. You can buy a copy for you, and you can buy a copy for your buddy, and you can spread democracy this day. Enjoy it. Helldivers 2, one of the best games I've ever seen. Literally correct. Guys will look at this and say, hell yeah. You know, that's how it goes, exactly. Matt, behind that is you're buying the platinum. Yes, buy me one. There it is. You know what I'm saying? All right, chat, let's do it. Let's finish section 8 before I end it.
The foundation of these fears is dubious. World of Warcraft and EVE Online occupied drastically different niches.
Correct.
WoW is what is now known as a theme park MMO, guiding the player through a series of set pieces in an expected sequential order and progression. EVE, in contrast, is known as a sandbox, granting the player a variety of tools and the decision of what they wish to accomplish with these tools.
Correct.
Similarly, while players of any particular character level in WoW will typically only be seen with others of the same level bracket, it's commonplace for a fleet in EVE to be comprised of players with widely different character skills accumulated.
I never thought of that. That's true. In WoW, you're only going to be playing with people that are of level. You know, you're only going to be playing, if you're in Molten Core, you're only going to be with level 60s. I mean, you know, but if you're in EVE, you can fly a frigate in a big fleet. You can have a battleship go over to HiSec, to the newbie area, you know. Another reason EVE is so dynamic, because there isn't it's one of the reasons EVE wins that I never thought of this before, because EVE takes, it's player skill agnostic. Player gear agnostic. You can have, and this is true for me too. My first no corp way back in the day, I told y'all that I flew a, what's the Maulus Tech 2? What's the Tech 2 Maulus? The electronic attack ship. I'm literally forgetting it. It's the big nose looking ship. I flew Carries. Thank you, Zaltis. Thank you. Thank you, Verb. Yeah. I flew a Carries as a scout and a tackler for my no corp, and I would be 5 jumps out watching for stuff, and I got to watch the 70 what's a paladin, what's the Navy paladin, the Armageddon. I got to watch 70 Navy Armageddons come in as I'm cloaked 10,000 kilometers off the damn gate, going hey guys, there's a 5 I would siege mode up or warp out. We got some problems. It was very, very scary. Navy apocalypse. Yeah. And I was in a frigate, and I had 10 million skills, 20 million. Nothing crazy for a null block, sheesh. But I was an invaluable part of that as a part of the whole. In WoW, if you're level 20, you don't matter to the raiding guilds. I never thought of that. That's a good point. Yeah, that's true, Zalties. There it is. Yeah. So for sure. $65 is 2 plat starter packs for 2 accounts and 2 mains and plexing 4 alts, which gets you plex forever. You can buy a single cosmetic horse in Diablo 4 that is zoomed out for most of the game, or you can literally plex 4 accounts in EVE Online forever.
Still, there was a significant fear that the harsh and hostile nature of EVE would push players into the much more inviting World of Warcraft. the dedicated EVE player base took to referring to WoW pejoratively. An oft-repeated insult was that an EVE player leaving for World of Warcraft increases the average IQ score of both games. But soon...
Oh my god, that's so harsh. Oh my god. Yo, that is straight nerdy. Oh my god. If I play both games, does that make me, am I Schrodinger's MMO player? Am I simultaneously an idiot and a freaking genius, chat? Oh my god, the shade, dude. Oh. And you know, I don't, listen, okay, you know, listen, I don't think they're comparable games. Saying you're gonna leave EVE for World of Warcraft, if I'm being honest with you, and I know, sheesh is right, I know that I'm a both MMO player. I played WoW and I play EVE, and I play EVE now. Because I'm smarter? We'll see. I think the point is, saying you're leaving EVE for WoW, they're so different. It's like saying, you know, I don't like chicken parmesan. I much prefer pho. I love pho. I love soup with meat and noodles from a Vietnamese background instead of chicken parmesan. I don't think they're comparable. They're two completely different games. They play differently. The vibes are different. EVE is the deeper game and is the more difficult game. WoW Classic ain't hard. Just don't stand in the fire. You know? So is it fair to say if you leave EVE for WoW, you increase the IQ of both games? It's insulting as hell. What's the line? He's out of line, but he's right. You know, it's like, I actually agree with it, but not in like a put down way. Like, it makes sense to me. If an EVE player goes to play WoW, that player's gonna go play WoW and he's gonna own the market. Like I did. Chat, my hustle in WoW Wrath of the Lich King was this. I had miners that I hired. Your boy out here. They would go mine Saronite ore and titanium ore. I would buy it for wholesale prices. I would buy like 1,000 Saronite, like the maximum amount. I would prospect all of it. Jewel crafting, ladies and gentlemen. I would prospect all of it. I would make cut gems out of the prospected gems, and I would sell them. I would put them up on the market the day before raid night. So when everybody gets their upgrades, they go buy gems, and there's my gems. I would make, not kidding you, 500% markups. I would buy Saronite ore for like 200 gold, but I would make like 500, 700 gold in a week. It's how I paid for all my mounts, you know? Nihilus. You and I were outbidding each other, huh? You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. Jewel crafting panther mounts were stupid expensive. Yes, dude, yes. Oh my God. At least, right, correct. And all because I've been playing EVE and I was like, what do you, okay, I go from EVE where I'm like
5%, not bad. That's pretty good.
To going to WoW and going to say like,
What do you mean I can go make 600%?
I will gladly do this thing. You know, it's no kidding. So totally. Yeah, chat. Let's keep us going because we got 23 minutes left. Let's do it.
Soon, Crowd Control Productions would begin competing with Blizzard in an entirely different way. In 2006, CCP announced a new collectible card game named EVE: The Second Genesis, identical to its namesake game on launch. During this time period, many creative companies were looking to emulate the success of such properties as Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh!
I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Do y'all have those games? I don't remember that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't remember that. 0%. I was too busy playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I was deep into Yu-Gi-Oh! I went to tournaments, chat. I made a lot of money at tournaments. Can I tell you how I did it? Okay. I would play one-trick pony decks. The rule was simple. I would put 20 bucks on the table. You beat me, you take 20. I beat you, I take 20 bucks. I would play in the tournament and like, I would get to like round 3 or 4. I would never win a tournament, whatever, but I would go to the other tables. And allegedly, chat, I would do this because would it, you know, is this legal at the tournaments? Who knows? It remains to be seen. I was outside the tournament grounds. We would go to a Starbucks. There it is, right? Correct, random. That's fantastic. Amazing stuff. So Pokemon, of course, Pokemon is fantastic. I played some Magic too, not a lot, but I was competitive in Yu-Gi-Oh! I played a Herald of Creation deck. Okay. What is this other Herald support I'm seeing? Miss me with, no, give me the ritual. No. None of this non-ritual monster stuff. Where the heck is it? Where is it? This isn't it. Herald of Ultimeness. Who plays Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, ladies and gentlemen? What is this, dude? What is this? This isn't my ritual monster. This not my hashtag, not this one. This one. Herald of Perfection. Creation, not Herald of Creation. Herald of Perfection. This one right here, champ. This one right here. KKK. This doesn't matter. When an opponent activates a spell card, trap card, or an effect monster's effect, read when they do a thing. When they take an action, I can send a fairy-type monster from my hand to the graveyard to negate it. I played a deck that was, if you do a thing, I said, no. When I tell you, I made hundreds of dollars every time I went to the tournaments. And what would I do? I'd buy more packs. You know, I'm not doing Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. It's a different game now. It's Solitaire the game. I've checked in on it casually. It's a completely different game now. It's a completely different game. Literally. So correct. Not even like, hey, do it to you. I would just go, no. And you would have hand get from graveyards. You can get the stuff back. New Yu-Gi-Oh is weird. It's like, do you have the nuts turn 1? No, I win. I have the nuts. That's it. You know, I'm not trying to do it. I tried Yu-Gi-Oh, the Steam game, and I got my ass handed to me because all these nerds are playing games that are like, literally they're playing solitaire. Did they draw the combo? If not fetch combo, did they not draw the fetch? Keep on going. I don't miss it, champ. I liked Yu-Gi-Oh. I had some good times. I'm kind of done with it.
And the developers of EVE Online were no exception. Hoping to build excitement, Crowd Control Productions organized a 128-player pre-release tournament at Gen Con, a large gaming convention. At the same convention, Blizzard was giving a similar sneak preview of their own upcoming collectible card game, simply called the World of Warcraft trading card game. Then, on November 11th, 2006, less than a month after the launch of the card game, Crowd Control Productions announced that they were acquiring White Wolf Publishing, a prolific and well-established publisher of tabletop RPG games, including the popular Vampire the Masquerade. In 2005, CCP had quietly approached White Wolf, looking for assistance creating their collectible card game based on EVE Online. Later, in an interview with Shack News, White Wolf marketing director Kelly Barnes-Herman stated that, quote, "Because of our history in managing the award-winning Vampire the Eternal Struggle collectible card game, White Wolf was able to make suggestions and provide some initial guidance to CCP in the first, and now we are looking forward to working on the first expansion set in 2007. End quote. CCP had gone from making their own board game to...
What is this? What is this? What? Is that Bjorn B? What is this? What is this, chat? I don't know what this is. I have not tried out Warframe, and I'm not gonna. Well, listen. Okay, I have tried out Warframe. Try out to me is I played for 50 hours. Okay, because I'm a gamer. You know, I didn't like it. I tried it for like 3 hours, and I was like, I don't like this. Just how the game plays. I just don't love it. Did we pass 5,300? Oh my God, we did.
To buying another company to make tabletop games for them. What's more, CCP also announced that it would be publishing new games based on intellectual properties owned by White Wolf, including their World of Darkness setting, called The Vampire the Masquerade. The immediate hope was for a sequel to the beloved cult classic Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines video game, a significant and undoubtedly costly undertaking. But a new Bloodlines game would not be as ambitious as another project that they were about to announce. In 2007, CCP announced a new massively multiplayer online game based on the White Wolf IP, simply titled World of Darkness. However, details at the time were scant. In an interview with Eurogamer, CCP...
I don't remember this at all. I guess it flopped? World of Darkness?
His marketing director Magnus Bergson said...
Dark Belf coming in. Welcome in. I do like some Belfs. Thank you very much.
That, quote...
Never got released. There it is.
We're not really hiding any information about it. We just don't know the release date yet. The actual design and exactly how it's going to be is being created right now, so when we actually know all of that, we can guesstimate how long it's going to take. These games typically take 4 or 5 years to make. I don't think this is going to be any different." End quote. Now, as CCP were attempting to balance and progress EVE Online, they were also responsible for the development of an entirely new MMO. However, this wasn't the only new major project that CCP would announce. At their annual EVE FanFest celebration in November of 2007, the company showed a trailer for a massive update to the game that they called Ambulation. This future update promised players the ability to exit their ships in stations and meet one another in-game face-to-face.
Listen, we're not gonna talk about it, okay? I refuse to acknowledge that this happened. Okay, it breaks my heart too. It does. I miss walking around in stations, but we're not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna... Let's just get through it, Chip, okay?
Something that could potentially make the game far more immersive. Despite the incredible amount of work that the company had promised to deliver, they were confident that they could fund numerous projects in part thanks to their growing and dedicated subscribership, driven by the chaos churning inside of New Eden.
Wow, y'all.
As
Wow.
the wars
Now listen, Section 9 is going to be on next video. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want more of this Down the Rabbit Hole content, really good discussions today. This is during our Operation BPO subathon. If you want more, make sure you sub on YouTube right here. If you want to see all the playlists for Down the Rabbit Hole reacts that we've been doing, that's right here. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much, y'all.